Alright guys, just a quick disclaimer before we get started. This is recorded post everything that's gone on, so my computer completely broke down, as you can probably tell from the lack of videos that have been coming out. I did manage to salvage the episodes that I had recorded before it went down, so hopefully, YouTube willing, those will be coming out really quickly the next couple of days. However, I did lose a ton of time recording, so there's not a lot of stuff backlogged, but I'm going to try and get as many episodes recorded as I can going forward so that we can get, relatively back on the schedule as far as where I expected things to be with this series so far. So just wanted to let you guys know what was going on, and with that, I'll go into the footage that I have recorded. What's up guys, it's Archer here and welcome back to our Ootp 19 series with the Kansas City Royals. I promised you guys that we were going to play opening day, and play opening day we will. Obviously a big off season for us, and hopefully we can turn that into a good start to the season, and then hopefully just a good season overall. And I'm excited. Let's get it started. I have to remind myself always that I have the warm-up rule on this series because I don't use it all the time. So here we are, first at bat of the season. Blake Snell going up against Khalil Lee, and let's see how it goes. Okay, grounded to the shortstop. That's going to be an easy out. Not how we would have wanted to start things off, but not bad. Gigliotti hits one into right field, but it's weakly struck, and that'll be handled easily by, I believe that's, yeah, Jesus Sanchez out there. Right. Okay, little ground out by Zhangyi Zhao. That's fine, we're all good. Yeah, that once Ely gets up here, that defense is going to be good in center field, and then we'll have great defense pretty much everywhere. I'm going to be really happy about that. Trevor Oaks, his first outing, and we will get the out there. Not going to do every batter, just wanted to kind of go through this first inning a bit slow. See all of our new pieces if we can. Or just see our old pieces working in tandem with everything. So that'll be 1, 2, 3 first for both sides. And I can go through that inning. Nothing in the second. And now we'll get to see Merrifield and then Simmons. Merrifield lines one into left field. That's going to go up against the wall. It's going to be an easy double for him. And that's good to see. Obviously, we want him to have a nice season if at all possible. And that'll bring up off-season acquisition Andrelton Simmons, who, of course, will strike out because what else would he have done? Oh, man. And that looks like it's going to move Merrifield over to third, but it looks like Tampa Bay just about out of danger as Khalil Lee does strike out, and that's the inning. So we'll just go until runners in scoring position. Oaks gets no outs and lets a man on first and third, which is not ideal. Looks like that's maybe shallow enough that the runner won't go, and it is, so Beltre is dealt with. Oaks now has to go against Malik Smith, who he's not so successful with. And that is going to be at least 1 run scored, possibly 2. Yep. 2 runs scored, and still only 1 out. So, with Jake Bowers and Williams up, looks like that's a nice little infield pop-up. Oh, that is... And he's not going to make the throw home. Oh, man. It's tough sometimes. It really is. Oh, it looks like we are going to get a double play, though, so it'll only be 3, but... Oh, jeez. I cannot believe how hard we make this look. Okay, looks like we got 1 back from Tellez. That'll be his first home run of the season. There's a way I can see that, I think. Can I? Nope, that just clicks on his name. Okay. I can't remember how to do it right now. But home run from him, and got at least one back, so perhaps turning the tides a little bit. Trevor Oakes gets through a clean inning, so that's nice. Dunez gets on base. And we're looking at the bottom of the order, but again, Merrifield into Simmons, so got to make sure to see that on opening day. Alright, here's Andrelton Simmons with a man on base. This one's going to be hit to the shortstop, to the second baseman, to the first baseman. 6-4-3 double play, and that will do it for us in that inning. So, moving on to Trevor Oakes now. Can he get a clean inning? He can. Top of the sixth now as we look to get something back. Fernandez and Lee both reach. And Gigliotti does hit this one straight at the shortstop. So now we have to rely on Zhao. And honestly, out of everybody, other than maybe Tellez, that's the guy I'd like to put it in the hands of, but he can't get anything. Another weak infield pop-up. And Blake Snell is a very difficult guy to go against on the first day, at least in this save, although we do get Tellez past one man, but we can't bring the runner home. So we've loaded the bases up now, but we do have 2 outs with Jermaine Palacios up, and he will maybe sneak this one over the infield. He does, actually, and that'll give us 2. Way to go. And now we have the score tied up, so I'm feeling a little better now. Samir Dunez, that's going to be a wild pitch, move both the runners over. And all of a sudden the offense is looking a lot better. Although Dunez does strike out eventually, and that will leave it an even game going into the bottom of the 6th. I think, given that Oakes only has 61 pitches, I'm just going to go and tell runners in scoring position, and it seemed to be a good idea. We'll do the same thing for this inning. We get Whit Merrifield on, and I just skipped through a Simmons at bat. Oops. But we'll have Khalil Lee up. And it looks like that one might just drop, and it does. That'll bring another run home, and all of a sudden, looking pretty good. So 4-3 here on opening day, as Chesson Shreve will now come in to relieve Blake Snell. And Gigliotti is going to be up. He'll line this one into left field. A brilliant diving catch by Jake Bowers, and that'll be inning over. So we'll move on to Trevor Oakes, who's only sitting at 77 pitches. And with Sanchez, Lowe, and Arroyo up, I am going to go batter by batter just because if he starts getting into trouble, I want to have somebody up as quick as possible. Looks like that is dealt with, though. And so we will be okay for the first batter. Lowe hits this one to the shortstop, who, being Andrelton Simmons, now makes the play, and I think that's exactly what our defense was missing last year, because that's last year maybe not even a stop, so I'm pretty happy about that. Trevor Oakes trying to get through 7 now, and he does. So Oakes, bit of a rough patch there in the 3rd, but otherwise really solid for us, only allowing 4 hits the entire game. And now we'll go and tell runners in scoring position, and another home run for Tellez, who now has 2 on the season. That's incredible. And I believe we will just go until the end of the inning. So now keeping a close eye on Trevor Oakes as he moves into the 8th. This one hit at Merrifield, who will easily make the play to Tellez. 91 pitches now for Oakes as he strikes out Jonathan Lucroy. That's his first strikeout of the night, by the way. So, you know, I've seen better starts to the season, but he's a control guy, so that's what he'll be doing. 97 pitches. Let's see if he can handle Adrian Beltre and then hand it off to our closer. He can. I guess I should consider whether or not I'm going to leave him in for that next inning. He does have 70 stamina. You know what? It's opening day. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to warm up Ozuna, but I'm going to leave Trevor Oakes in. And we have another Andrelton Simmons at bat to watch as this game hopefully is coming to a close. Hits it at the second baseman, and that's fine. Not going to worry about him too much in the early goings. And we watch Fernandez strike out before looking at Khalil Lee doing the same, and now we're into the ninth. So 5-3, Trevor Oaks has gone 8 innings. Let's see if he can go any further. Gives up a leadoff single. And with Osuna ready, I think that is going to be the end of his night. So we'll drop Roberto Osuna in, and we'll see if he can handle Bowers, Williams, and Sanchez to close this game out. That is hit into right field, not quite handled by Lee, and now we have runners on first and second. And I'll admit I'm getting a little nervous. This one hit to the pitcher, though. Looks like it could be a double play. No, not quite. Ozuna not quite quick enough on the throw to second for us to turn 2, but we do get 1. And, of course, we have somebody on first, so this could be a double play to end the game. I'm going to have our infielders play at double play depth, and we'll see if Ozuna can get the ground ball. No, this one is hit long, right up against the warning track. Lee does make the play just about, but that was scary, and it does look like he'll give up 1 run, but possibly get us out of here as Lowe hits it to first base, and that'll do it. So, sneaking past the Rays on opening day, but pretty happy about it as Trevor Oaks has a good debut. Osuna with a fairly decent one as well, and I'm pretty pleased with that, to be honest. I think that's a great start to the season. We will be back with you, let's see, probably at the end of this month, just to give you a quick update and about whether I've decided to bring up Ely or not yet. I'm going to have to research that because I want to delay his free agency and his arbitration a year so that we make sure to get the full 7 years of service time out of him. Because right now we would only be bringing him to 26-ish for free agency, and I'd really like to stretch that out as far as possible. So, got to keep hold of your stars as long as you can. Angels have certainly done it with Mike Trout, so we'll see what we can do about that. In the meantime, I will just click through the next couple of days to see what Sheffield and Whitley can do, but after that, we will be back with you at the end of the month, and I will have my decision for you then, and hopefully, fingers crossed, we'll be off to a good, maybe, around 500 type of start. So I'd be really happy with that, as Sheffield has an excellent debut, and Forrest Whitley does as well. So we don't win both of those games, but man, it's looking like a lot better season than we had last year, so I will see you at the end of the month. So a bit of a blow for us, guys. It looks like Forrest Whitley is going to be out for 6 weeks with shoulder inflammation, and, probably okay. He was not having the greatest of starts, but, still disappointing when your young players go down like that, so we were going to place him on the... Yeah, let's do the 60-day disabled list. I think that is fine, and we're going to call up Scott Blewett to replace him on our pitching staff. And it looks like he will go straight into the rotation then. So, as you can see, not off to an amazing start pitching-wise. So, that has been a bit of a concern here in the early goings, something we thought was going to be much improved. But our defense looks great, and our offense doesn't look like the worst, I'm happy to say. Simmons has struggled a bit at the plate, but obviously, as you can see from our defense, he's made a really big impact there, which can't be understated. Rowdy Tellez is tearing up the league, and I did do some research on service time and how all that works. So basically, Jerry and Ely is also going to be injured for a while, which is kind of the perfect excuse. And, also wasn't playing amazingly at AAA. But basically it's just an excuse for us to keep him in out of the Major League roster for a little while longer. But basically the way it works is, if you delay it long enough that it is a fraction of a year, basically. So, I think at this point we would probably be safe, actually, to bring him up. And that would delay his free agency by a year because, you have to have exactly 6 years of service time. So being a fraction of a year, you have to have 6 or more, right? So essentially you get 7 years of service time out of that. It would have put him at risk, however, for Super 2, which means that he would have had that extra year be an extra year of arbitration, rather being, 3 years of, just regular minimum league salary, and then 3 years of arbitration. It would have been, 3 and then 4. And what we're trying to do, just to, save a little bit of money, although I'm not too concerned of it, is maybe go for 4 years of minimum salary and then 3 years of arbitration so that the price doesn't balloon, incredibly out of control. Although, I'm not too worried about it. Like I said, it's just, we're Kansas City and we have to be cheap. What can I say? So anyway, that out of the way. He's out for another 2 weeks with his injury. Once he does that, I'm going to let him get a couple of reps down in AAA just to kind of get him, back into the swing of things. And then after that, we will call him up. So hopefully you'll be seeing him here soon. We will be going up until probably, let's say, All-Star voting or thereabouts. Just basically whenever I am going to call him up. And at that point, we'll do that. We'll probably, maybe watch his first game, and then we'll go to the first-year player draft. So I'll see you then. Okay, guys, we are here at the first-year player draft, and you may be wondering, why isn't Jerry Neely on the Major League roster? Well, he just got recovered from a niggling injury, and I was going to call him up. That's weird. I thought he had 2 day-to-day injuries in there. Maybe one of them just wasn't... I think when they're minimal, they don't show up on injury history. But anyway, I just wanted to wait until he was fully healthy to call him up. And for this Jacksonville series, that will be Jerry and Ely Day, June 5th. And I'm just hoping at this point that he will be past the Super 2 deadline, so to speak. There isn't really one. It just is a matter of how many rookies have been called up apart from him that'll be in that same year of service. But... we'll see how it goes, and I'm mostly just excited to give him a look, regardless of whether it means we'll have to do more arbitration or what have you. So let's take a quick look at the team before we do that, though, because as you can see, we're 30-30, so we're right on 500. We are pretty far out of any sort of division race. We're only 4.5 games out of the wild card, so it's not totally out there to say that we might compete in the second half, especially if Ely is as much of a superstar as we expect him to be. Luis Castro has been pretty decent as a signing out of the bullpen. Roberto Osuna has been quite nice as a closer. The strikeouts are not really there, but that's going to be fine. I'm not worried about it. Justin Dunn has kind of steadied himself, so to speak, and is now on a 4.59 ERA, which is about where we would expect him to be. Justice Sheffield has been tracking lower and lower the whole season, and if we look at his pitching splits, you can see that he has a 3.90 in May after a 4.65 in April, so he's, just ratcheting it down as he goes along, and hopefully he will settle in at around a 3.5 sort of level. As for the rest of the rotation, Oaks has had a really tough season, and I'm not sure that he's going to turn it around, so I'm a bit worried about that. Blewett has been, the rotation replacement. He's been fine. Hoke has not been quite as good as I would want from a fifth starter, but, again, he's just there to give you innings, and, that's how it goes. Liam Hendricks has recovered to have a better year than last year, but still not the ones that we want from him. Aaron Bummer has been, pretty decent, especially given that he's not just a lefty specialist for us right now. And the rest of the bullpen has been solid enough. So let's move to lineups, and I'll give you a quick look at those. Rowdy Tellez has been absolutely amazing. I don't know how else to say it. 1,000 OPS, 17 home runs, just been absolutely spectacular. Khalil Lee has been quite nice. out in right field. Gigliotti has been not so good the last couple of weeks, but got off to a really strong start, and actually he was one of the reasons why we hadn't brought up Ely quite as early, but rest of the team kind of struggling for form, especially Andrelton Simmons, who has struggled pretty mightily, but we're hoping that he can turn it around. As always, everyone else is, just kind of in the meh sort of area, but like I said, hopefully we'll bring up Ely, kickstart the offense, get things going, and we have a lot of talent down in the minor leagues, so hopefully things will be getting replenishments constantly. Forrest Whitley, it turns out his injury wasn't as long as I thought it was going to be, so he's going to have 20 days left on the DL after really going to be okay. So if we end up a couple of games out of the playoff race and it's our starting pitching that messed it up for us, you know who to blame. You know who to blame. That said, let's get into the first-year player draft. And I have not seen this class yet. Blaze Jordan looks to be the top batter, which is not surprising. This is actually a real person. And kind of in the, he's been kind of hyped up since he was in like 5th grade, basically, like Bryce Harper was, if you remember that. So we'll see if he is that good in real life. Nick Bitsko, who I believe I usually draft as a batter, is looking real nice as a starting pitcher, although OSA, I imagine, doesn't quite agree. No, they do. He's a very easy sign. Well, I'll be honest with you, that's kind of hard to pass up. Rob Strickland throws 100, though, and he's from college, which is usually a little more appealing. That must be junior college, because he's only 20. His control is real bad. It's real bad. He's intelligent. Okay, well, it's an option for us. Bobby Mailer. He's got a great nickname. Cutter slider changeup mix at 93, 95. Kind of decent. Somebody I would draft at like 7 overall, not necessarily at 1 overall. Hansen's the same way, although he has a really advanced changeup for his age. But yeah, not going with a high school pitcher unless it's going to be Bitsko. And, oh man, I'm really tempted by it, but I think it's going to be Strickland or it's going to be Blaze Jordan. Is that crazy? Is it crazy to take a first baseman as the first pick in the draft? Can we just say he's going to play third base and then change it? I don't know, man. He's a high school bat. No. We're going to draft... he's a two-way player as well. Bitsko is, I mean. Alright, well, Strickland or Bitsko? Let's think this through. Bitsko is a two-way player. I mean, that's arguably more value, but he's a right-handed high school pitcher, so the injury risk is going to be high. Let's look at the scouting report and see if there's any red flags. Nope, no red flags there. His velocity has even been improving, although his scouting reports have been dipping a little bit. Although his currents have not, so that's fine. Okay, well, Strickland has the potential to be an ace as well. So there's not a lot of difference in how our scout thinks of them other than just where their current ability is. I'm increasingly tempted to just go with Bitsko. Let me look really quickly at my short list and filter it to pitchers. So in terms of pitchers that'll be up in the next, like, let's say 2 years, hopefully Blagden, Ortiz, maybe Gates. Gates and Benton are both 21. So is Caleb Hill. So, you know, out of those, let's say that 2 make it. So we have like 3-ish pitchers that should be up in that area. So really, it wouldn't be out of the question to just say, okay, well, let's reload for like further down the line just because this may be our last year with a high draft pick. That logic makes sense to me. Let's go with Bitsko. I really feel like I have to nail this draft as well, because if I don't, this is, like I said, probably our last year really having a nice draft pick. And, you know, if I don't nail this, we could be looking at our contending years having a lot thinner of a farm system than I'd like. Nassim Ryu. He's an impossible sign, but, you know, probably wouldn't be too difficult for us at this point. I'm not going to go high school pitcher, though, so I think I need to look at batters at this point. Person with the best skills looks to be Brad Mixon. He's an extremely hard sign from high school. Pretty classic right field ratings. Can shut out the stress and put it on automatic. I mean, that's kind of nice. Potential to unleash his obvious talent both on the field and at the plate. There are a lot of positive things in that scouting report. Let me sort by contact. Hello, Mitch Correa. AKA person that I'm going to draft in a later round if you're still there, because you have no defense. Andy Duffy, maybe. Okay, that's decent. Again, I think that's a prospect for later on. Yeah, I think we're going to go with Brad Mixon. Bats left, throws left. That's always valuable. Let's do it. Go to the next pick. Our scouting director recommends Jamie Rasmussen, who is a pretty good defensive center fielder with a big work ethic. Not great contact, but should be able to survive, it seems. Second division starter at center field. That's not really what I'm looking for, to be honest with you, Scout. Rio is still here. He's got a 4-pitch mix. Throws pretty hard, good control. I think at this point that's a good idea, even if he is impossible, just because sometimes the longer you wait on the impossible guys, the higher their demands get, which is something that I definitely didn't understand at first. Okay, well, that's a reliever, Scout, so maybe if you could not recommend me that. Mitch Correa is still here. I think it's a round or 2 early for him. Let's see if Andy Duffy is still there. Sean Brewy has kind of a classic slugger profile with the good eye and the good power, but with the not great contact. So does Tim Watts to a degree, and he's pretty developed. You know, actually, that's not an awful idea. Likely to be on the bubble for a big league role. Okay. Not exactly what I want to see. Aha! Andy Duffy could develop into a productive regular on a contending team. Well, isn't that just exactly what I'm looking for? There we are. And pretty easy to sign as well, which should help with signing Nassim Ryu. You want me to draft Greg Mowry, and I am considering it. Penciled in for the lion's share of starts at his position. Doesn't really have a great arm, but as a second baseman, he won't really need one. Great at turning a double play. He's a bit of a leader. Yeah, I'm into it. And then next time we can draft Correa or possibly one of the assorted starting pitchers. Okay. Makes sense to me. Our scouting director recommends Robbie Fancher. Not this early, especially not with that stamina. Robbie Mikowski, not an impossible sign, surprisingly. Deep arsenal, doesn't throw super hard, but he's a high schooler, so that could improve. Yeah, I like the idea of that. I'm gonna check in on... That's not what I wanted. Correa is still there, so let's go back to pitchers. And Mikowski is our man for now. All right. And then in the 7th round, we're going to look at batters again. And, Correa's taken. I was a little worried that that would happen. Let's see where he was taken. Pick 21. That's really painful, actually. I mean, not really painful, but it's annoying, to say the least. We were really close on him. No, I mean, I stand by what I did. I'm not entirely upset by it. Joe Hollins doesn't look like anything special to me. Really neither do most of the batters at this point. Chris Peel. No defense. Not an exciting bat. Okay, well, looks like I'm looking for pitchers then. Fancher is still there, and my scout still wants him? No, he wants Danny Bronson now. I mean, that's not great, but I'll draft him at some point, probably. Sort by control potential. Jonathan Hurley? Yeah. Okay. That's kind of what I'm looking for. If not exactly. Yeah, let's do it. Do Hurley. And then in the 8th round, I guess we can go Fancher. That's fine. Eric Peterson is who you want? Oh. Well, yeah, sure. I mean, that's a decent bat. That's fine. I'll go with it. And then in the next round, I'll probably be looking at Gillespie, because this late in the draft, taking a reliever is not really an awful thing to do. In real life, actually, relievers are often taken earlier than that, but I prefer to take starters and just maybe convert them later down the line. Alright, let's look at all players, and then let's see if there's anybody slipping through the cracks as somebody that's miscast. Closest to that looks like Steve Dolan. Yeah, as far as I can tell. And I was also looking at him as a pitcher, but he doesn't have a third pitch, so... at this point, it's round 11. I've started doing this with my other saves, and I'm not sure that it's really effective at this point. But what I've started doing is sorting by current potential this late in the draft, because it seems to me like rounds like 10 up until round like 15-ish tend to be really dead rounds. And, you know, you'll have the player who develops out of nowhere from like round 20 or something, but that it's not likely to happen here on the cusp of like maybe a talent. So what I've done is sorted by current potential and taken the people that look like they would be ready to contribute on like a A-ball or maybe high A level right now, and they're never going to make the major leagues, right? Look at this guy, Leith Lockyer. That's not a major league player, right? That's a AAA at best player. But my minor leagues have been so bad that I think maybe this is a way to improve them slightly. I don't have a time to go in and sign a ton of minor league free agents. I let my assistant GM do that, right? But this is maybe a small way to sort of help things along, and so I've started doing it. I'm going to draft a couple of those guys here, Devin Thurkiel. I'm not even going to look at their potential because I don't care. Andy Lee, you're a pitcher. Maybe you can play two ways, have fun up until like round 15. I'm drafting you on name alone. I'm never going to see him again, but my scout knows what I want. Somebody with power, or no, let's go to pitchers actually and look for maybe not a reliever, if at all possible. Yikes. Randy Abshire. Sure. Alright, and then I'll just let my scout do the rest of the draft. Alright, so we're into negotiations, and we will sign Nick Bitsko and Mixon fairly easily. We'll see what Nassim wants. Significantly above 4.6. Well, I mean, we have the money for it, so let's try $4.7 million. $5.7 million, excuse me. Let's see if that works. Andy Duffy, no problem. Greg Mowry, not an issue. Robbie Mikowski wants $2.2 million. That's fine. I'm not upset about it, and that should be hopefully getting all of those players. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to promote Jerry and Ely to Kansas City because I believe we have a roster hole. Yeah, we do. I already cleared one out. And we'll go ahead to this game at Jacksonville and watch him play his first game of the season. And hopefully he can get off to a good start. My plan right now is to go until the All-Star game in terms of simulation and give you a quick update on the team then, and then we'll end the episode off there. And then next episode we'll do international free agent signings and the trade deadline, which may be interesting depending on whether we're still in the race or not. And if not, we'll still try to make some value buys like we always do, but just something to hopefully look forward to, and then we will do that. Hopefully Ely will be at that point an established Major League superstar, will be in the playoffs, and I won't have to think about decisions too hard anymore because we'll just be good. I know none of that will happen, but a man can dream. And again, this is what I was talking about, above average in right field, amazing defense in center, great defense in left, good defense at third, amazing defense at short, good defense at second, plus defense at first. Our catcher's good. It just feels better, especially knowing that none of those people are like offensive black holes. Andrelton Simmons is probably the closest to that this season, but we know he has the skills to do a lot more than that. As we wait for the first pitch of the game, and Tanner Hoke strikes him out on a changeup, and we will go until runners in scoring position. They do not get any, and Dallas Keuchel, who plays for the Diamond Cats and is having a real bad season, just a real bad season, is going to pitch against Jerian Ely at his first at-bat this season. Come on, Jerian. He ropes this one into right field, and that's going to be a hit. So his first hit of the season in his first at-bat of the season, and he's off to a quick start. I'm going to be greedy and see if he can steal second here. And he doesn't even try it. He decided to hold. I'm going to try it again. Again, he doesn't. Keuchel kept him from going off, apparently. This time he does go, and he's out. That was a risk I was taking. I'm probably a bit of a stat patter, to be honest with you. At least in this game I will be. I just want to see my beautiful boy succeed, you know? It's weird, the feelings that this game gives me about, like, after I've developed a prospect. Like, you wait so long, and finally you're like, oh, maybe I have, like, a star. You just feel like a proud parent. It does not look like we are going to get anything out of this inning. And we do not. So we move to the next one. And we will just go until runners in scoring position. Whit Merrifield is on, and he'll go to third on a wild pitch. Gigliotti will get a chance to move him in, and he will not do so, unfortunately. Is there a way I can... There we go, make the play-by-play speed a little bit faster for you. Go to runners in scoring position. Again, nothing, and now we're at the bottom of our lineup. Fernandez hits this one weakly into left, easily handled by Garcia. And now Jerian Ely up to bat again. Can he make it a 2-for-2 day? He can. Ropes this one into right, and this could be extra bases. It is. He's going to push this to second, and he's going to hold up there. So Ely now with a single and a double so far, and looking great. On his way to a in-order cycle on his first day. That's what's going to happen. Clearly hits this one weakly into left, but it is going to fall in front of the left fielder, and Ely being fast enough to take this one from second to home. And that'll put his RBI total at 35, and that'll move us one up in the game. So Zhao now hits this one to first, and unfortunately that's going to end the inning for us, but pretty good. Jerian Ely gets his first run scored of this season. And Tanner Hoke is really shutting Jacksonville down, which, granted, is not that hard to do given they're an expansion team, but, you know, it's something. We don't get anything in the bottom of the fourth, though, and we come to the top of the fifth, and Hoke gets through it cleanly. We'll watch as Gigliotti, Fernandez, and Ely come up. Guillaume reaching way back there to get that one. Xavier Fernandez is going to be hit by a pitch. And Keuchel puts one on first with Ely up to the bat. And it looks like that one is roped into left. And I was joking about the cycle, but if Fernandez hadn't been on base there, I fully would have expected him to go to third because he does have that sort of speed. Fernandez was just definitely not going to come home given how slow he is. So that's just awesome. Let's see if Palacios can bring him home. The pitch, and this one is high but not very effective as the game freezes. And that's because it wants to ask if Fernandez should come home, and I tell him it does, and he scores. So, 2 up now in the bottom of the fifth. Ely on, and a pitch out to Khalil Lee, and that'll bring Zhao up with 2 on, 2 outs. He's going to strike out, though, on a full count. We pick up a run, but that is all, as Tanner Hoke is only on 55 pitches so far, so he is rolling. And the game has crashed. I was afraid that would happen. Okay, so I will reboot the program, and then I'll be right back with you, hopefully. Alright guys, well I have booted things up again, and it looks like I've gotten everything working. But we didn't save after the first-year player draft, and so pretty much everything that I've just recorded has gone away. I'm going to check the recording, I'll redo first year draft as it was. But hopefully you enjoyed getting to see Ely up. I'm going to call him up at the same time that I did, and then I will just play through to the All-Star game, and I'll start the next episode there, but I think that has been quite enough for me so far. So hopefully you guys enjoyed this episode. If you did like the video, please consider clicking the like button and subscribing as well so you can get all the future videos. My name has been Archer. This has been our OOTP 19 franchise with the Kansas City Royals, and I hope to see you guys on the next episode.